Hench Herbivore. morning. How are we doing? Thanks for joining me. Who's in the house? Callum. Morning, everyone. Nice and early start. Yeah, I'm up with the lot today. I'm up bright and early. Oh, also, I'm going to have my breakfast while we're talking. Normally, it takes me half an hour to drink my breakfast smoothie, which is 2 litres. I thought, well, I'll just do it as I'm chatting because I don't drink it all in one go. I have to take sips and then put it down. So that's why I'm on early. Also, I was hoping to catch some of our Australian contingent because, this is the time of the day to get them. And they're our third biggest following after UK and US. So hope to see some Australian peeps. Torre Santana. Great use of emojis. Good to see you. Prep SS. Good morning. Surprised to see this at this time. Chilling in the bath whilst my wife snoozes. Standard. I've always got up so much earlier than Gemma. I mean, she's been recovering her health, but actually she's up about the same time now, which is nice. So we get more of the day together. Der Haferflocker. Guten Morgen aus Deutschland. Good morning from Germany. I'm going to guess that says. And good morning to you. How are you doing, my friend? Hope you're well. Son of Jude, morning. Hench, I have a question. I know it depends on weight, etc. But while cutting, what should our calorie intake look like? Sorry, a bit of a vague question. Well, not really. I think you're alluding to the fact that, of course, it's a bit like saying how long should a piece of string be. I can't say one number because, of course, we're all different, which is what you're alluding to. So, basically, while you're trying to lose body fat, you should aim to lose no more than 1% of your total body fat each week. So the way to do that is to be scientific. So take your body weight, work out what's 1%. And then you need to do weekly weigh-ins. You need to have a decent set of scales, digital preferably, that do like, say, 0.1 of a pound or a kilo, whatever is your preferred measurement. You know, just small delineations, basically, so you can be more accurate. You can have a better idea of what's going on. Once a week, in the morning, after the loo, before you eat or drink anything, weigh yourself. Okay, now this is called your true weight when you take it at that time because your body weight will go up throughout the day. I'll put on like 5 pounds and it's, it's fluids, it's food, so you're not just weighing fat and muscle, bone, there's organs, there's how much sodium have you got, are you retaining water, like how much, like you can eat like 1,000 calories of oil and virtually nothing happen, or 1,000 calories of apples and like you've got several more kilos in your body. Do you see what I mean? So in the morning though, after you've been to the loo, that's the best time to take your weight. And yeah, just weekly reweigh yourself. And if you've lost up to 1% of your body weight, great. And if you've lost too much, you need to slow that down because you're going to end up skinny fat with a damaged metabolism. If you're not lost enough, you need to take out a little more. Around 500 calories deficit would be like a pound a week fat loss for most people. Over time, it will change because your body weight changes, your energy output's not going to be as much unless you start doing more. Because obviously it's easier to move around a body that weighs less calorically demanding. So there's that. If you've forgotten any of this, download my free nutrition guide. It's all in there, nice and simple for you. And that was a great question. Adrian B is in the hizzy from California. Nice. I would love to visit California. I'm very jealous. Which part are you in, and how's the vegan scene? I know there's some good areas in California for veganism. Dragon Fist. How much carrot juice, beta carotene do I need to get orange glowing skin? I'm having 3 cups worth a day starting 2 days ago. My skin has not changed. Should I drink 1 litre of carrot juice per day? Each cup is about 5 carrots. I wouldn't be drinking carrot juice for the fact that you're going to have free sugars, devoid of fibre, raising your risk for Alzheimer's disease, the biggest cause of death now in UK residents. And the answer is, I don't know. You shouldn't have to. I mean, that sounds like a lot. Maybe you're just expecting too much too soon. I wouldn't think. So there was some science. Dr. Gregor mentioned it on nutritionfacts.org. I can't remember the quantities now. Oh, no. I'm telling a lie. they did an experiment where they turned the orange up on people's images by 20%. And whatever race the people were looking at the images, they always said that the more orangey one was more attractive. And what he said was, this type of effect is achievable with normal sort of culinary doses of carotenoid-rich food. So it's not just carrots, it's not just beta-carotene, there's 600 carotenoids. So I would say vary your sources for one, for better health outcomes. So orange, yellow, red, and green coloured produce. These all have carotenoids within them. But yeah, you shouldn't need tons. I wouldn't have thought you'd need more than that, but I don't have the data. But I wouldn't have thought you'd need. But I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't go with juice though. I wouldn't go with juice personally. Ricky, did you train BJJ? Yeah, a bit. Not to any high degree, but it was one of the styles I eventually did for a while. Yeah, very good art, very sophisticated. And when that kind of first came out, when UFC first came around, like, you know, a lot of martial artists weren't really doing any ground fighting. You know, we were all strikers, so. I was just like starting, like just being a beginner again. And, you know, the limited amount I kind of knew, I took it to my karate club. And our karate club, we did 50% the traditional curriculum and 50% like real combat, because our instructor was a ex-doorman. And so it was anything goes. It wasn't just like point and then you stop. It, you know, you could go to the ground, like eye gouging, biting. You know, obviously you wouldn't bite chunks off of each other. You would just get, say, someone's nose or ear in your teeth, and then, you know, you'd break there because, you know, you would have bit their appendages off, and not many people would carry on after that. So, forget the point I was making. Oh, yeah, I just easily wiped the floor with even bigger, stronger people than me. Not that there was many at the time, but, yeah, if you've got no clue of ground fighting... You saw it in the first UFC. There was that boxer. He was a black guy, American, I think. And Hoist put him on his back, and he just basically tapped out because he was like a turtle, like on his shell. It just couldn't. It just alien to him, and he just gave up. So yeah, that was UFC. I think was the best thing to happen to martial arts for possibly forever. How about you, Ricky? Are you a BJJ? Well, Callum, does anyone know any good vegan clothing websites? I like henchherbivore.com. We have got quite a few different designs if you want to check them out. Some kind of more gym related, but some sort of streetwear. What have we got? Be on the right side of history. Will you be on the right side of history? Question mark. And in the question mark it says be vegan. But yeah, we've got a few different designs if you want to check that out. henchherbivore.com. Vegan warrior, plant-based gains, kill workouts, not animals. Yeah, we've got a few different designs. Who else is good? I like ethics. You can use code HENCH for 10% off there. It's kind of urban wear, really. Maybe a little bit of gym stuff. Defender of Animals clothing. Their profits go to animal sanctuaries. Why am I blanking? Viva La Vegan is good. I like them. They often give me some free stuff, so I'll big them up. Viva La Vegan. Eco Threads. I think code HENCH10 for them. You can get 10% off at Eco Threads. Iron Meathead. Can you react to Swearinger's video? I'm done. He's depressed and suicidal now. He doesn't eat food or sleep because both his girlfriends broke up with him. I don't know if I can be asked to keep looking at him is the only trouble. I mean, what do you say about it? And without sounding like nasty, like I don't just want to come across nasty. I want to like educate and, you know, I do want to poo-poo him because obviously he's a complete imbecile and he's sort of inspiring some complete bellends to ruin their lives and their health. But didn't he just do a video saying I'm done? Like, isn't he done 2 videos in a row saying that? But yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to just be nasty for the sake of being nasty, if you know what I mean. If there's some educational stuff in there. I don't know. Vegan Metalhead. I love the smell of vegan live streams in the morning. It smells like victory. I love that. Scuzz, have you tried cream of rice for pre-workout? No. What even is it? Easy to digest. Carbs come from starch. Cream of rice. Is it? I'm guessing it's not Whole Foods. Cream of rice. What is cream of rice made of? Coarse flour made from ground uncooked rice. I bet it's white rice. I don't know. Yeah. Unless it's whole grain, I wouldn't be tempted to give that a go, really. But yeah, it sounds like a good fuel. Taylor, hence you're going to watch the Deontay Tyson Fury fight tonight? Probably not. I don't know where it's on. It's Gemma's sort of birthday week. We're doing the big celebration tonight. We're going to Namaste Village restaurant with some of our friends. So yeah, I'll be out and about. I don't even know where it is. I certainly don't have pay-per-view or whatever, if that's the deal. You know, I wouldn't be disinterested. I would, as one, you know, I've kind of got a bit fed up with combat sports and stuff. But yeah, I would definitely watch that just out of interest. But yeah, I've not gone out of my way to make that a thing. And yeah, it's kind of Gemma's birthday, so she's kind of calling the shots today. Friday, Hench, is it safe to go straight to being vegan and not let your body transition slowly from meat eating? Yeah. Yeah, the only time that you can have a bit of a bad time of it is if you're eating a really unhealthy diet and then you go to a really healthy diet. So say you're just eating meat, sugar, refined grains like oil, and then you go to legumes, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds. Well, the fact is that you're going to have none of the healthy bacteria that process like real plant foods, like particularly the fiber. So yeah, you do want to transition slowly from like the most unhealthy diet to the healthiest diet. I would take a few weeks, but it's not that you don't need to. You can cut animal products right out and just replace with some mock meats, vegan mock meats. There's one potential, which is no data on it, but Dr. Clapper speaks of this, and there's certain nutrients in flesh, sort of meat vitamins that you can almost think of them as meat-based nutrients that we can produce ourselves. Our muscles are meat, aren't they? Like we make these nutrients from the plant precursors, the same as the animals that some of us cruelly eat. But if we've been eating animals historically, our genes may have shut down the production of things like creatine, carnosine, carnitine. There's a few sort of meat-based nutrients. And so the theory is if you suddenly cut out eating them exogenously, your body may take a little while to recognize they're now not coming in and then switch the genes on to tell your body to make them, from, as I say, from the plant precursors. So the idea is that there's a potential to not feel like optimal for a short time. I can't say I noticed it. I mean, I did go pretty much 100%. And I had dysbiosis. Like, I didn't have enough of the good bacteria, so I did have a bit of gas in bloating, stuff like that. But yeah, it passes. Like as you're not feeding the pathogenic Bacteroides bacteria, they die off, and as you are feeding the Prevotella strains, and incidentally, the bacteria come in on the foods, and then they blossom, and then you can shove in all the fibre you want potentially, and do fine. Ricky, everyone in the BJJ is understanding of newcomers. Like, Me loving the community. Yeah, it's like a brotherhood. Really good people. Dragon Fist, I already have 60, 70 grams of fibre per day anyway, so I don't think I'd need much more. Well, historically, we ate up to 150 grams of fibre per day, and some modern tribes people eat 150 grams per day, eating a more natural diet in nature, like actually in the wild. I've eaten up to 160 grams per day, and if you look at the data, there's no upper cap whereby more fibre doesn't equal less stroke, less all-cause mortality risk. So 60 to 70 grams really isn't that much. It's a lot. It's triple or 3 times like what a lot of people eat, but a lot of people eat a horrible, horrible diet is the point. But you wouldn't want to like suddenly double it. Again, you'd want to slowly kind of up it. Anyway, I'm having carrot juice for the concentrated vitamins and minerals to get the highest amount of beta carotene. Yeah, no, I see what you're doing. But like I say, you are risking Alzheimer's disease, which is freaking horrible. What would be an easier way? I'll tell you what I would juice would be greens. So they're much more mineral dense. You'd be getting carotenoids and you wouldn't be getting sugar. So I'd be juicing greens personally. But you do it how you want, my friend. Consistency Queen in the hizzy. Callum ordered a hoodie last week. Thank you. You're a great person. Appreciate the support. Scuzz, do sweet potatoes digest the same time oats? I don't know. But if you're eating everything in one meal, like it's kind of irrelevant. It's all like digesting together. Yeah, I just really... What are you asking? Are you asking like which is healthier, like which is the slowest to absorb and then affect your blood sugar? They're both, I don't know, one's probably a bit better than the other, but they're both awesome. So, Alid in the hizzy, one of my fellow vegans. Consistency Queen, what's your take on anti-vaxxers? I just don't like to not answer people's questions, but I avoid speaking about vaccines and coronavirus because normally the chat descends into a big argument and it's not enjoyable anymore. So sorry, but I seek to avoid those questions. Dragonfish, so all animal proteins increase IGF-1. Plant proteins may not have the same effect. Also IGF-1. How much do you know about IGF-1? Insulin-like growth factor 1 is So basically, when growth hormone combines with insulin, it forms IGF-1. And when IGF-1 comes into contact with cells in the human body, it causes them to divide. So it's called hyperplasia. So anabolic steroids work by hypertrophy, like they help to grow the muscle cells bigger. IGF-1 from taking growth hormone and possibly insulin as well. This causes hyperplasia, which causes cell division. So then you're growing more cells. So that's from my bodybuilding background, from my more nefarious times. That's what I know about that. So the thing about soy, like several servings of soy raising IGF, it's really, I think it's just the amino acids. And I honestly think that if you're eating any whole plant food, you're eating a range of amino acids, I think it's likely going to have the same effect in the body. And the fact is they tested soya protein powder to see like the effect. I postulate that it may be the same whatever. If you're eating like excess protein, basically, the more protein you eat, the more you raise your IGF-1. I don't know. The science hasn't been done. I don't have any data to back that up. But that is, I'm inferring that currently. I just can't see that a bean would be like a risk factor for this. And like, you know, beans are some of the healthiest foods in the world. Not that things can't have a negative aspect, but my understanding is on the amino acids. And soy has a similar amino acid profile to meat. Like it's very good for like muscle growth. But well, if you're eating a range of proteins, you're going to have the same amino acids. I mean, I have masses of protein relative to what an average person should probably max out at. So I think that I'm likely raising my risk of elevating my IGF-1 similarly. Also, I refuse to believe that you can get enough IGF-1 from food to cause any clinical change in the body. I've not seen it. So, yeah, I certainly don't think it raises the ability to build muscle. Yeah. And so the danger is basically if you have cancer, if you've not got cancer, it's not going to raise your risk for cancer. But if you have got cancer cells in the body and the IGF-1 comes into contact, like, then theoretically, like, well, not theoretically, IGF-1 would cause hyperplasia of, cancer tissues. But yeah, can that happen from food when it's not doing it to muscle? I mean, I suppose it can, because that seems to be the risk that people a lot cleverer than me are worrying about. But yeah, I don't worry personally. I think a bit of soy is great. I wouldn't eat tons of isolated soy, just like I wouldn't eat tons of isolated, any protein, or any food. Like, you're best to eat a good range. So that's what I'd really say about all that. But I doubt there's any more risk of eating soy versus other proteins in terms of IGF-1. There may be, I don't think we've seen the science. I could be wrong, but that's what I infer from looking at the data to date from what I've seen. Scuzz, what do you say is the best carb source pre-workout? Apparently starch and glucose are best as they get stored in the muscle, which gets stored in the liver. I think that we don't ought to worry so much about nutrients, like individual types of sugar, for instance, and really we just need to eat whole plant foods, and they take care of themselves. I eat starches, I eat fruits pre-workout. I've eaten a mixture over time. Sometimes I've gone more starch, sometimes I've gone more. Say it's been a while since a meal, and then I can only get fruit in. Well, that's going to have quite a bit of fructose, potentially, depending on the type. But I've noticed no difference to my workout performance. So, yeah, I say you worry more about what the foods are. And as long as we're eating whole plant foods, that's all, Say you just had pure fructose, well, yeah, that versus pure glucose. Yeah, that could do something different. But we're not, and that would be really harmful to our health if we did. Scuzz, if I want to get 150 grams of fibre per day, can I just dry scoop some psyllium husk with water? You can, but you'd only be getting one type of fibre, and ideally we want to get loads of different types of fibre to feed the different bacteria to have the best health outcome. Wouldn't fancy dry scooping it, I don't think. And are there any no zero calorie sweeteners that aren't bad? If not, what would be the least bad one? Today, we think that erythritol seems safe. To date. We used to think that stevia was safe, and now we know about 3 things, in which it could potentially be harmful in high enough doses. So, yeah, I'm not really a fan of processed things like that. I think sooner or later, likely we'll find out there is something negative going on. So, Joe King in the hizzy. Dragon King freely asks that we need loads of glucose, simple sugars for our cells for energy. Is she right? No, we can get energy from any macronutrient. Glucose ultimately is what fuels us, but everything's broken down into glucose. Says we don't absorb enough glucose sugars into our cells. I don't know what that's about. Derek in the hizzy. Yo. Vegan foods. What do you know about raw foods? Maybe even some superfoods. What? Do you happen to know what raw vegan foods, maybe even superfoods there are for humans as well as dogs? I'm forced to do some dog food ingredients. Usually treats and fast food. Right, I'm not entirely sure what the question is. I don't really know what the question is. Do you happen to know what raw vegan foods there are for humans? Well, fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds if you can get them unheated. I'm a bit confused, as well as for and even superfood. So superfood is a bit of a misnomer. It's just there's no true definition. I think it's just like marketing to try to get you to part with your hard-earned money. Basically, what can I eat and dogs eat that is vegan? Anything that doesn't come from animals. Anything that doesn't come from animals. I'm no veterinary surgeon, so you know, some plant foods are probably toxic for dogs. I know chocolate is toxic to dogs. Garlic is toxic for dogs, but very good in humans, and you can even eat that raw. Dragon Fist, can you buy pure fibre? I don't know if it's quite pure, but psyllium husks are very high in fibre. But, you know, it should be coming from our foods. Guys, I'm going to start having garlic cloves in the morning. How many should I have? As many as you want, but people will start complaining that you stink. I used to eat 5 raw cloves a day, and eventually my martial arts brothers told me, like, can I stop it? It comes out in your sweat. I'll take this moment of pause to try to get my breakfast in me. I'm not even half done yet. Vegan foods. Is it true the smell of garlic keeps mosquitoes from biting you? Unfortunately, I'm no... what even branch of science is that? I'm no insectologist. I don't know. I think that's vampires you're thinking of. Skirts, what is your go-to pre-workout meal? So I train typically after breakfast. This is my one day off, so I'll do some active recovery today. But it varies. Can be like beans on whole grain toast, like sugar-free beans. Smoothies a lot of the time. Porridge. It is basically whole grains, legumes, fruits, sometimes little veggies. Flax and chia seeds I have every morning ground. I'm having 60 grams total now between the two. Yeah, and you know, it comes in varying forms, but it's basically those foods. Gomez, how are you doing, lovely? Good to see you with your lovely use of emojis. Callum, what tips would you give dealing with my partner who is heavy meat eater? I've got no idea because I've never had a partner who's a heavy meat eater since I've been vegan. But I think all you can do is live, like, be an example. You know, share resources. I mean, I guess you're thinking, like, how do you help coax them over to veganism? Is that the question? You know, be an example, share resources. Just try not to beat them over the head with it because, like, that's just going to cause issues. Some people are fine with it. Some people start to feel really bad that their partner is not, you know, have a similar circle of compassion. So I've seen it, you know, break up a few like marriages. And then equally, I've seen people struggle for ages, and then all of a sudden the other person changes and they become like an even more vocal vegan than the partner like ever was. So yeah, it happened. It can happen even when you think it's not going to happen. Like, but oftentimes it has to come from someone else. It's like we change, so that person thinks, oh, you should love me for who I am. Like, we got together, I was a meat eater, like, you should be all right with that. So if we hold resentments or, you know, depends on the quality of your relationship, I guess, and how well you can communicate without upsetting each other. Can be a good test to see if you're with the right person or whether you need some personal growth yourself. Like, yeah, but that's a tricky one. guys in the chat, I mean, like I say, I don't have any experience. So how are you guys? Have any of you got a meat-eating partner, or did you have? And what are some good tips we can give for Callum, please? Jamie, I want to help people who are interested in transitioning to a whole foods plant-based diet. I have a certificate in plant-based nutrition. Do you recommend doing it for free in the beginning for testimonials? Any advice? Yeah, I mean, that would be a good plan. Me personally, I'd already built up a big social media following, and then I started practicing. And so the way I did it was actually to give out all my best advice for free through videos and posts. And then when people want more bespoke help, like they'll see you as an authority, they'll see your like breadth of knowledge, and you know, they'll trust you. So then they're more likely to come to you. There's some phrase about people have to see an offer like 7 times or something. So you just want to be really industrious. You know, you want to just post on all the platforms. I think that's really number one is social media. At least it was for me. But yeah, if you can get some good testimonials, that's certainly going to help. Pomo Dorino in the hizzy. General Dorino, what up? Entomology, or word of the day. Scuzz, how long before you work out do you eat? I heard 3 hours is good. 3 hours is probably a bit much. I mean, it depends. If you're eating an all-meat diet, you might want 3 hours. I think for a whole foods plant-based diet, 1.5 to 2. By that time, it's in the small intestine, and it's all the nutrients, calories are seeping into the bloodstream. Any less than that, and the food's in your stomach, so you may feel sick. You're certainly not powering your workout. And and if you leave it too long, particularly if you're working out for a long time, you could start to sort of crash a little bit. So 1.5 to 2 hours if you're eating a whole foods plant-based diet is perfect. Dragon Fist, how many tons can you lift? All of them. All of the tons. Peace Angel, do you think sourdough bread is better for your gut than gluten-free bread? Thanks. I think sourdough can be made out of all kinds of different things, and a lot of it is glutinous. Sourdough, I think, is it right? I might be wrong, but I thought sourdough speaks to the process of how the bread's made rather than being like a particular grain. So that's my understanding. Sourdough is meant to be better for the gut because I think it's fermented. But I don't know. Maybe you can get gluten-free sourdough, but I thought that on average, most sourdough does have gluten. Don't quote me. Maybe do a bit of a Google search, but that's my understanding so far. Vegan foods usually show them stuff that is up their alley, but they do not go to that. Usually works to transition. Scuzz, what are your stats? Height, 6 feet. Weight, 17 stone, 1.5 pounds. So 17 times 14. A lot of you guys won't know stone, will you? Where's my calculator? 17 times 14 equals about 240 pounds, which is 108 kilos. I don't think anyone's ever asked me this question before. You'd think that would be a standard. Body fat, I don't know. I'm fairly lean at the minute, but not super lean. I'm that much body fat. I don't know, 15%? I don't really know. It's hard to say, really. We need Greg Doucette. I'm certainly the leanest I've ever been this strong. I'm about as strong as I've ever been, except for bench press, which is a ways behind. But then I'm not on tons of steroids anymore. But that's the lightest I've been at this strength. So I'm actually really pleased. Dragon Fist, what's heavier, a ton of trucks or a ton of feathers? Trick question. You can't get a ton of trucks because trucks probably weigh over a ton each. Is that the answer? A ton of problems is the heaviest. That's very true, vegan foods. Callum, I'm soon to be engaged. Holiday proposal incoming. Oh, nice. He's very supportive and absolutely hates veg. Don't. Well, you know, sounds like you're in a good space. So, yeah, just good communication is key, isn't it? You know, just be honest and open and compassionate to, you know, where like your partner is, you know. And remember, like, we weren't any of us really, very few born vegan. Yeah, so just be compassionate and just kind in your communication style. Non-violent communication is a great book for teaching about that. Kelly Miller, hey, Hench Herbivore, hey, after going plant-based for 3 months, my skin has gotten weaker. What do you mean weaker? I can't tell if it's nutrient deficiency or diabetes. I'm getting stretch marks way too easy. If you're getting stretch marks, that tells me that maybe you're losing fat. Is it? And the marks are now showing where you were bigger. That's my understanding of what stretch marks are. So it could be that you're leaning out. Yeah, what do you mean by weaker skin? I don't understand that. If it's a nutrient thing, what nutrients would you guess? I'm eating ground flax seeds every day. I just got a folate supplement and no nutrients I should be targeting. You should be eating all of them. You should be getting the minimum RDA of essential fatty acids, so omega-3 and 6. Also, the essential amino acids and also all the vitamins and minerals. Let's go over to Chronometer. So I would invite you to plug your foods in. So here's fats. So you want at least 2.2 grams of omega-3 for a female. So 2.2 there. You want no more than 3 or 4 to 1 in favor of omega-6. You probably don't need that at 100%. That is an average of a sick population. It's 100% where omega-6 deficiency doesn't present. However, we don't know what is the minimum RDA, and we're looking at a sick population with a lot of inflammation. So it's up to you. Personally, I wouldn't worry about getting up to 100%, but you can get it to 100% by eating a bit more nuts and seeds, basically, that are higher in omega-6. So anything other than ground flax, ground chia for that. Here's your essential amino acids. Here's your vitamins. B12, of course, we need to take a supplement. Choline's another one, like omega-6. We don't know the minimum RDA. From my understanding of the data, likely 300 is adequate. I think it wasn't even considered an essential nutrient until fairly recently. And where was I going with that? It's only... Oh yeah, it's really conditionally essential. If our folate, if our B12, if our methionine, which is essential amino acid, if those are low, then we have trouble. We make it ourselves, basically, but then we can struggle if we're not getting those. Well, if you're not getting those, like the choline is the least of your worries. Do you know what I mean? Like you need some B12 in order, well, you need them all in order to live. If any of these essential nutrients are low enough for long enough, you're brown bread. So we need to get all of them. But choline, again, likely we don't need as much as the RDA. The one time I personally, and again, you do you, don't take my word as gospel. If you want to go 100% of the recommended, it's not an RDA, it's an AI adequate intake, then do so. The only time personally I would be more concerned to get that, and this actually goes up to 550 milligrams in this case, is pregnancy. Because you are looking at neural tube defects in the baby, should that be low. But you shouldn't need to supplement folate. Folate, from the word foliage, is plants. You know, it's your greens, legumes are particularly good. Vitamin A, your carotenoids, you're looking for... So ignore this, and you're looking for retinol activity equivalent. And for a female, you're looking for 7,000 micrograms a day, 700 micrograms a day. For a guy, 900. Vitamin D, of course, we should be getting from the sun. There's your vitamins, there's your minerals. So this was for a lady. I did a nutrition plan years ago for a lady on a cut. So it was just 1,750 calories. And basically, I prescribed her oats, a little soya milk, berries, dates, flax seeds, chia seeds, kidney beans, kale, sweet potatoes, yellow peppers, red peppers, sunflower seeds, lentils, quinoa, tomatoes, spinach, onion, mushrooms, and 1 Brazil nut. Brazil nut's important or you won't have adequate selenium. So this is on few calories. And as you saw, we smashed all the essential fatty acids, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals. The word essential means that it is essential that we eat them in order to be healthy. If you're short on any of those, potentially, you're looking at, your hair falling out, like your nails not growing, like no energy, up to and including death. So I wouldn't be thinking in terms of individual nutrients. I would be thinking, am I getting the bare minimum of all the essential nutrients? That's really what you want to be looking at. Boom. But specific ones where, I would be suspicious of would be essential fatty acids, vitamin E, zinc, but any we don't know that half of it with nutrition, and any nutrient deficiency could cause different issues. We just don't really know. We don't really. I think we know a bit, but we know there's a lot more to find out. I don't even think we know a fraction of what nutrients there are in plants, for instance. There's a lot more than there is in meat, I'll tell you that. Super chat. Hermit kindly donated 40 rupees. Google opinion rewards put to good use. Much you lovely person. Thank you, Hermit. And how are you doing today? Thanks for joining. Well, it's got really busy now. I'm miles behind on the questions, but I really do need to drink some of my breakfast smoothie. Right, where the hell was I? Mass hypnosis. What do you think about working out in the morning on a faster state than having breakfast post-workout? It seems arse about face to me. I always think fuel a workout, and then be in more of a caloric deficit later on. I had one client, however, when I was PTing, who did better fasted in the morning. That was just how he was. But he was a bit of an anomaly. For most people, if they don't eat, in terms of my clients, they had a piss poor workout. So, not for me. And I understand there's no metabolic benefits. We used to think it was more fat burning. But my understanding is that in more recent years, the science has not borne that out. That's my current understanding anyway. You're welcome, Peace Angel. Iron, what are some good meals for getting rid of the last bit of belly fat? Whole foods, plant-based, legumes, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds, in any order, in any shape or form, other than fried. Yeah, it's basically those types of foods. You want to be in a caloric deficit, and so you want to fill yourself up with water and fibre. So it's those foods, basically. But make whatever types of meals you want, but don't add oil in. Vegan foods. Do you happen to know if veganic produce has a noticeable nutritional difference between organic vegan produce? Veganic, I wouldn't have thought so. I don't know. I've not heard anything. I've not seen any data. But it's basically the same thing, isn't it? I guess they're going to be trying to source the same nutrients. So, I don't know, but I would hazard a guess that it's probably irrelevant. I mean, it probably depends exactly what's being used. You know what I mean? Again, there's like vegan diets, and then there's vegan diets in humans, and one vegan diet could have a better health outcome than others. So yeah, I guess it depends what's exactly being used. Big Spoon Bear in the hizzy. Taylor Restle. Stephen, morning mate. Thoughts on Huel only diet? Horrible. For the best health, we need to eat the biggest range of whole plant foods, so legumes, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, nuts and seeds. Huel, you know, I've not looked at it lately. When it first came out, they sent me some and wanted me to work with them, and I just refused. Like, there was just so much crap in there. I mean, maybe they've changed the formula by now, but there was like some sort of coconut oil derivative which raises your risk for heart disease. Synthetic vitamins and minerals, which if you look at the data, if anything at all, likely do more harm than good. What else do they have in there? Carrageenan, which the jury's out now. We don't think it's carcinogenic, but we do think it harms the gut microbiome, which is your potential for good health. You know, just, yeah, I know it's made from some whole foods, but and to eat only that, I wouldn't eat it at all, in all honesty. The only time I would consider something like that was if I just didn't have time to fit a meal in, which is not a thing because I base my days around getting proper nutrition. But I would use like Vivo Life's Whole, which I think is all like veganic, you know, real ingredients, like no synthetic, like nonsense. Big Spoon Bear, one of my colleagues likes to say that frozen food has more nutritional value than fresh food. Do you know if there's any truth in this? There can be, depending on how fresh the fresh food is. So oftentimes frozen food is picked and frozen on the day. And then like an apple, they can often wax it. Could be sitting around for potentially months, apparently, believe it or not. So there could be. But what I would say to your colleague is, show me the data. Show me the data on this. These, I don't know, bird's eye peas versus this, I don't know, mandarin. Well, not a mandarin, unless you live in the tropics where they grow. Something that grows locally. Maybe take them to a field and then take them to an orchard, bite into an apple on a tree and say, like, which has got the most nutrients retained. It's obviously the apple that's still on the tree, isn't it? So, yeah, could be true. More often than not, it's likely true, but not in every case. Derek brings up a good point. Sexual food. Scuzz, have you heard of neck training? Heard of it? I've done tons of it. I ain't even got no neck. I do plate, neck curls, and neck harness extensions. I used to do extensions when I was a fighter. I would take my lifting straps, loop them through the discs, and hold the straps in my teeth. So not only was I working my neck, I was working my jaw as well. I do a lot better now. Even my upper traps have grown. It will protect your head from injuries too, save your life. Yeah, that's very true. I've never been knocked out. Never been knocked out in my life. Not that I couldn't be, but I've had a mixture of being lucky, being fast and elusive, and having a strong neck. Callie, thank you. I'm going to have to clip this off the stream and keep it close. Also, probably see a doctor. Bless you. You're very welcome. Scuzz, is it true that the amount of calcium you should have? What is the true amount of calcium you should have a day? For your average person, it's looking like about 550 milligrams. Is probably optimal, or at least enough, because in countries where that is the average, they don't have any more incidences of hip fractures, which are apparently the number one indicator of bone density. So, yeah, likely about half of the RDA of most countries. Recently in America, the dairy board was lobbying to have it put up to 1,200. And the funny thing is that dairy calcium is only 30% bioavailable, whereas the calcium in kale is 70% bioavailable. So maybe you do need a bit more if you're stupidly drinking stuff that comes out of animals like a weirdo. Taylor, I'll start having 300 milligrams of EPA, 600 grams of DHA, algae oil every day. Do you think that's enough? Yeah, I think that's more than enough. Also eat 3 tablespoons of flax day, 2 tablespoons of hemp hearts. You know to grind the flax seeds. I'm taking it to absorb more of the omega-3, sorry. Yeah, you don't need as much. You only need, to get the benefits of like DHA, you only need 250 milligrams of either DHA or combined EPA DHA per day. I think there is some science to suggest that some direct EPA may be beneficial. I don't know how robust like the data is. I don't know how strong it is. I have seen that somewhere in like one study at least. But yeah, 250 total is, for an average person, is where you get the benefit from long chain omega-3. Kelly, I literally eat a bean diet, so the folate supplement was unnecessary. Good girl. Aston, good morning. Think you need to respond to Paul Saladino's latest video. Did a Whole Foods haul. Most of his trolley was free. Wow. Wow. I will have a look at that. That's very funny. Oh, let's make a little note of that. I shot an Eddie Hall response video yesterday. I've pretty much done the edits. So I'll have that up tonight. He was saying that he went vegan for 3 or 4 days and he felt his size and strength, what did he say, like draining away, sort of something like that. Carnivore, the carnivore that eats fruit. Grocery haul. Yeah, that's mostly fruit, isn't it? What a buffoon. What have you got? Like Tefano, him. Even Sverige has been drinking orange juice and tomato juice and eating bloody mangoes, isn't he? Real carnivores. Vidit, I am 6 feet tall. Dragonfist, how does the placebo effect work? I don't get how someone can be given a sugar pill, be told it'll cure that. Because our bodies have an amazing innate ability to heal. I would recommend, it's not very easy for me to explain, although I'm not sure that I've totally taken it all in. But we have like epigenetics and neural plasticity, and yeah, we have the ability to shape our body, and a lot of it just through thought alone. You know, Dr. Joe Dispenza reckons that we can make some amazing things occur, but we need to have like belief, and we need to access the feeling state like it's already happened, because if those two are incongruent, then that sends a mixed signal to the, how does he call it? The, what does he call it? Like that morphic field. What is his word for it? The quantum field, I think he calls it. If you want to find out more about this, yeah, Joe Dispenza would be your guy. I would recommend the book Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. The ebook, I think, is on YouTube currently, like pirated. It's not meant to be on there, so it may have been taken down by now, or there may be a new version up. But Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, that will give you some great insight. Taylor, what is wrong with synthetic vitamins if you get the ones you need? Are the vitamins processed from organic produce the best for multi, etc.? Yeah, so the best nutrients are in the whole foods. They're in the right balance, like and they kind of support each other. Say you just get a big whack of calcium, like a synthetic calcium, like 500 milligrams. At no time in history did we ever ingest 500 milligrams of calcium in a half a second. And that can just cause havoc in the body. It can lead, for people with angina, it can cause an angina attack, can trigger like I believe, like a heart attack, can calcify your organs. The synthetic versions are oftentimes just a bit different, and they're handled differently in the body, and they're oftentimes not so healthful. If just looking at the data, so if you look at meta-analysis, like studies that study studies, they basically get a load of studies and have a look, like which were positive, which were negative, which were neutral. And according to meta-analysis, if we look at synthetic multivitamins, the vast majority of studies found no benefit to health or longevity. One or two studies did find a benefit. And I would be a bit critical and thinking like, right, who funded that? Things like that. That's what I'd be thinking of. But a lot of studies found detriment, that it actually shortened lives or harmed health, raised your risk for like cancer. Like synthetic beta carotene, I think it was beta carotene, raised the risk for cancer in 6 separate trials. They were looking at airline pilots who get cosmic rays from outer space, like that, basically like DNA damage, like potential like cancer triggers. And they had a control group that did nothing different. Some of the pilots were given ascorbic acid or citric acid. They were given synthetic vitamin C, one of those. And then a group was told to eat more fruits and vegetables. And the group with the pharmaceutical grade vitamin C had more DNA damage than the control, who did nothing. So, yeah, real food. I'm not saying that they're all bad, and yeah, if you have got a deficiency, I would seek out, well, I'd try to get it from the food, but say like you just physically couldn't eat enough. Well, there's supplements made from real food, like Vivo Life's Thrive, which is powdered like greens and fruits and different stuff. So the link below for that, 10% off, code HENCH10 if you want to give that a look. So number 1, I would go for whole foods. Number 2, failing that, I would preferentially go for a supplement made from real foods rather than a synthetic supplement. But if there was one nutrient which you really just for some reason couldn't accommodate with those first 2 options, then yeah, maybe there's a case for a synthetic version. But try to find like the best quality, like the best version of it. So for instance, Viva Life do capsules. They do multi-capsules. So they do the Thrive, which is a mix of nutrients, but maybe there's 1 or 2 in there, that, or not in there, that you want. Well, the capsules they do is based on all the latest science, and it's which nutrients can vegans tend to be lacking in, and which are the best versions, like the safest, the most efficacious, all backed by science. So, yeah, in an ideal world, I'd go whole foods. If I can't do that, I'd add in a whole foods supplement. If that didn't get all the nutrients, I would add in Vivo Life's multi-nutrient capsules. Other brands are available, and some of them might be all right. Different nutrients might be okay, but some won't be as good. And just that Vivo Life is really scientifically based. The guy who formulated them, apparently he's stuffed such a massive load of research papers on Josh's desk and said, look, this is my baby that I've been working on the last couple of years. I want someone to produce this. This the latest science. It's what we're missing on average. It's the best versions. Are you up for it? So, very good. Sorry guys, I've got a bit lost. I should also drink my bloody breakfast. I'm getting there. Kelly, oh my god, that neck. Not been knocked out, that's awesome. Chaos is scary. Actually, I'll tell a lie, I did get knocked out once when a car hit me when I was on my bicycle. But that's the only time, and that's only because he blindsided me. I couldn't prepare for it. Derek, is it correct to say that high calcium intake limits absorption of oxalates? I've not heard that, because the oxalate equals bad myth flying around is thereby reduce more uses considering I get acids of calcium. Yeah, so if you're getting a lot more calcium, then you're getting oxalates to bind it. I think there's about 100 milligrams of calcium in about 100 grams of spinach, but because the oxalates, only 5% of it is absorbable. So I wouldn't say it limits the absorption of oxalates, but likely that oxalates can only bind up so much calcium. So if you've got much more calcium than oxalates, then you're going to have enough free. But you don't want to have high amounts of oxalates in the body. You want to limit oxalate to some degree. And there's oxalates in a lot of healthy foods, but some are just super high. So it's spinach, chard, beet greens, rhubarb, and carambola, you know, the star fruit. These I would limit to 1 serving of any of them. I wouldn't have more than 1 serving of total of all 5 of those things in a day personally. Preferably cooked. Scars. Never thought of training the neck harness in my mouth, train the jaw. So I used to use lifting straps. So it's basically a length of material with a loop. So you just loop the disc through there. Yeah, and just hold it between my teeth. Thai boxers do it with like a net. They've got little weights in a net or stones, and they hold it in the front teeth. Frank Tough Guy Tofano in the hizzy. Guys, when did you first start working out? Age 15, I started karate, and then got into some weight training. So that was 32 years ago. Kelly wants to try the band in the mouth thing. Taylor, hey, anyone seen Eating Away to Extinction documentary on, I assume it's probably vegan, my parents agreed to watch it. Yeah, it's meant to be very good. Bit of a sore point. Me and Jem were invited to the green carpet. I don't know if you call it a premiere. It was like a pre-screen. I guess it was a premiere. But we couldn't make it, and we were really gutted. Yeah, but I've seen the trailer. It looks fantastic. Yeah, there's a couple of trailers on YouTube if you want to check it out. The special one, have you got, is that Ragnar? I can't quite see, no, it's not Ragnar, is it? Have you got a fitness tracker watch? Yes, I got sent one from some company. Do you recommend it? I got bored of it really quick and didn't find it that useful. But then, like, I'm a physique athlete, so it's not so beneficial for me. I think they are a good idea. If you can get a good one that tracks sleep really well, that would probably be the most benefit, I think. Right. I should probably go and do some life, really. But it's been really great hanging out. Thanks, moderators, for keeping us talking. Did we have any moderators in? Just in case we did. Thanks for keeping us troll-free. I don't think we did, though. And yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. I really love you very much. I'll maybe try to come on tomorrow, either early or late. But me and the little lady will definitely be on Monday at 7 p.m. If you've not already, feel free to download our free ebook. It's basically a complete overview of how to, thrive as a plant-based eater, whether you want to build muscle, burn fat, get healthy, just make sure you're not lacking like nutrients. It's all the stuff. Oh yeah, and our Speedy Vegan Cookbook is available to pre-order now, 10% off if you pre-order now. So check that out if you want. It's like 30 just easy, quick to prepare whole foods plant-based recipes that are you can prep in 15 minutes or less, and you're getting like multiple days worth of meals. So don't tell me that you haven't got time to eat healthily. All right, guys, have a fantastic day. Hope to see you very, very soon. Bye for now.